All right, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Chris Walters, the Director of Development at Jewish Family Service of Greater Dallas. Hope you all are having a great afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining us today. This is our first Building Financial Power seminar series of our 25-26 calendar year. We're pleased to have Courtney Jones. She is the CRA Compliance Specialist and Assistant VP at Benchmark Bank. She'll be our presenter today, covering the topic of working smarter, not harder, AI for personal finance. So it's going to be a great time. I just wanted to talk about a couple of housekeeping issues first before we get started. If you will please mute yourself during the presentation, we greatly appreciate that. Courtney has asked that if you have questions during the presentation, that you put your questions in the chat. We'll have time at the end for a Q&A to discuss your questions and get those answered. We wanted to also let you guys know that if there's something on the presentation that you didn't quite remember and you want it repeated, this PowerPoint presentation will be added and uploaded to our CFS page on the JFS website. So you can go back and refer to it if there's something you missed or questions you had. And also, if you guys would, as you've participating in this event, your logins may be a little bit different than your names that you registered with. So in the chat, if you wouldn't mind just adding your name to the chat, we'd like keeping a roll call of who are our participants. We love being able to share that with the bank. And we just want to be able to acknowledge you later to thank you for being here. All right. With that being said, I'm going to turn this over to Courtney Jones.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much, Chris. I really appreciate it. As previously mentioned, my name is Courtney. I work with Benchmark Bank. I've been there for about 4 years. I'm super excited to be here and really excited to talk about our topic today. So we're going to be talking about, also, I know sometimes I can talk a little fast, so please let me know if you guys need me to slow down at all. All right. So we're going to be talking about discovering AI for personal finance, making your money smarter for a smarter future. So the main question today is how artificial intelligence is changing the way that we save, spend, and invest. I know for a lot of people, myself included, sometimes AI can seem like this really scary thing. You don't know a whole lot about it. So today we just want to dive a little deeper, and hopefully at the end of it, you guys feel more comfortable with some of these tools that we have, and you also feel more confident when trying to use them. So just a few things we're going to cover. Why AI in personal finance matters now, smarter budgeting, how to help save, AI-powered investing, debt management, how to help with your credit score, fraud detection, and also financial literacy. So these are the things we'll cover over the next 45 minutes or so. It's kind of broad, but I just wanted this to be a general introduction so that you guys can really see all that AI can do for you in your finances. So the first question, why AI and why now? So there's an article that USA Today reported in saying that Americans spend nearly 4 hours a day thinking about money. And the crazy part about this is we're spending all this time thinking about money. However, we're still missing opportunities to save, or we continue to overspend and have these issues in our budgeting. So how can we use AI to tackle that? So AI allows you to have more financial data than ever right at your fingertips. It can process data instantly. Most apps are either affordable, if not free, and it can also give you personalized recommendations that are tailored to your budget and your financial needs. It's almost like having a banker right in your pocket to be able to use. So super, super efficient and really effective. So the first thing we're going to talk about is smarter budgeting. There are several tools that you can use, and some of these apps will go into more detail on the next slide about how to use them and exactly what they have. But typically, Any financial AI app will have most of these things. So a few notable apps that are really popular right now are YNAB, Pocket Guard, Clio, Rocket Money, and Marnox Money. And all of these apps do pretty much the same thing. Some of them do it in different ways, but they're all going to offer you automatic categorization of your expenses. So it'll show you exactly what you're spending and what you're spending it on. You'll get real-time alerts for overspending. So if you have a budget set in that app and it's noticing that you're spending too much money in a certain place, it'll let you know. And that way it can help you monitor your budgeting and your spending in real time. And then also they tend to be really fun and engaging. So for example, the Clio app will use humor to assist in its financial literacy. And it does that by making it kind of, Clio is more conversational. So when it notices things about your budget, it may send you a little snarky or sarcastic message. It's popular amongst a lot of kids because it feels more fun and they're also learning while they're using it. And so just a general tip when you are using these apps to budget, it's always best to try to use alerts to identify spending hikes instead of fixed monthly limits because it just helps you keep from falling off track. For example, the budgeting app the banking app that I use, it uses AI to quiz you. And this is also an example of how AI is more prevalent in our financial things than we realize. It's already there. So we might as well make the most of it. So for example, my banking app, it'll give me a quiz at the end of the month or weekly, and it'll ask me, how much do you think you spent at, it'll list places. And so one day it listed Starbucks. Um, I think it listed another restaurant I typically frequent and then the gas station. And turns out I was spending a couple $100s at Starbucks a month. And that was something that was able to identify for me. And now it's something that, I buy coffee instead of going to Starbucks every day because I realized it was starting to get a little bit much. But that's just an example of how AI can help you notice those things so you can make better decisions with your money as well. And just some of those apps that we mentioned before. So Clio, it's coined itself as the go-to personal financial assistant. This app also has a credit card that you can apply for. It has no interest, no credit checks, and it reports to all three of the major credit bureaus. And so the whole point here is to help you build credit. So if you're someone who maybe you struggle with building credit or you want to try and repair your credit, this app or in this card will be a great option for you. It also is really good at debt reset. So it'll help you to organize and form payment plans so we can all get on that road to being debt free, which I know is most people's goal. And just an example again of how I mentioned this one kind of uses humor. So you can see it saying, "Hey Cleo, what's my money looking like?" And the app responds, "It looks like you finally got your life together. No takeout at 2 a.m." So it's tracking your budgeting, but it tries to make it humorous and engaging for you as well. Another really good one is Monarch Money. This brings all your accounts together in one screen so you can easily manage everything. So if you're one of those people who you may have a checking account in one place and a saving account in another place to keep your things diverse and this would be a really good way for you to monitor everything you have going on at one time. It tracks your day-to-day spending for you. It'll create a budget to fit your needs. It can be used with a partner. So if you have a spouse and each of you have separate apps, you can have access to each other's things. And that way, if you have, for example, a joint savings goal, because maybe you want to go on vacation at the end of the month, this app will let you guys work together to be able to do that. And again, it has that specific goal planning. So what most of these apps do is you can let it know, hey, I want to budget for car repairs. Or maybe you have a little one and they're about to start school, so you want to budget some back to school funds. These apps will help you identify exactly how much money you need to save for those items and then help you come up with a plan to make sure you're able to do it successfully as well. And then YNAB is the last one we have mentioned here. And again, this one, it creates a personalized budget plan. It specializes in being able to help you pay off your debt, increase your savings, and to reach those goals. And the one that makes this one stand apart from the other two I mentioned is it actually has free webinars. So if you want some additional financial literacy lessons, or you want to just kind of learn more about what's going on in the industry, this app has all those resources for you and it's completely free. So we talked about budgeting. Let's dive deeper into some automatic saving. Because if you have technology, you might as well make it, save passively for you. So there are a few apps such as Acorn, Digit, and Capital that help with this. And what the way these apps work is they round up your spending and then it creates micro savings for you. So for example, with Acorn specifically, if you go into a place, let's say you go to buy a cup of coffee, the coffee is $1.75. It'll round that up to $2, and that extra quarter it'll put into savings for you. That way, you're saving money in real time, and you're not even thinking about it. Another similar app that's not mentioned that I love to use is Upside, which helps you save money when you're at the gas pump. So if that one, it'll not only tell you where the cheapest gas is, but it'll also store your savings for you. I think I saved like almost $30 one time passively, just getting gas every month and doing the things you normally do. Another thing that these apps will do is to help decide safe amounts to transfer, and then utilizes goal-based savings rules. So that's basically you identifying how much you want to save, and then the app will use these roundups and these passive methods of helping you save money without you even having to think about it. And before you know it, you've reached those financial goals that you've set aside. Um, and so, like I mentioned before, here's just a quick tip. These are effective ways to passively save extra funds. Users of similar apps have savings averaging $30 to $50, which I can vouch for. Again, without even noticing. And imagine how much you would save if you then took that money from these apps and you put it into an investment account. And remember, this is money that you're not even thinking about. So to be able to take that, put it into an investment account, and then have your savings make you even more money is a great way to be able to start using AI, especially if you're someone who you kind of want to get into investing, but you're not really sure how to do it or what the rules are exactly. These apps and tools will help you do it in a way that's safe while also helping you maximize your earning potential as well, which is a win-win. And this also will segue into investment management. So robo-advisors like Betterment, Wealthfront, or Elevest, these types of apps, they specialize in a couple of different things. So they will help with what's called tax loss harvesting, and that's just basically reducing your ordinary income, which helps to lower your tax burden a little bit at the end of the year. They use goal and risk-based allocation, so it's doing all the algorithm and all the work for you to figure out where your investments are safe. And then it'll help you keep your portfolios balanced so you're not losing too much money, but you're also earning enough at a decent rate. Um, and so again, it does all this by utilizing algorithms to kind of help manage where those funds should be. The app will adjust automatically as the goals and risk level change. And then, for example, the app Elevest uses gender-aware investing to help to account for factors such as income gaps and career breaks common among women. So that's a really cool one. Maybe you have to go on maternity leave or you have something specific. That app will kind of help you invest your money so that you can make up for those gaps you may experience in your typical income. And so again, these apps are really great to get started. They're perfect if you kind of just want to get your feet wet a little bit. But if you do want to go into something more complex, you can always consult an actual specialist. But to just kind of get your feet wet and like a part really great. I'm sorry. No? Okay. All right. And then another way these tools are great is you can use AI to help with your debt management. So I mentioned earlier just wanting to be able to work towards being debt free, and AI can help you do that. So, what's the problem most of us have? High interest debt. With tools like Tally or AI payoff planners, we can help accomplish some of these pay downs that we all want. And so the way that these apps work is they personalize your repayment order. So let's say you have multiple credit cards, the app, you'll put your information into the app and it will help you figure out which card to pay off first. And this is important because it takes into account things like your interest payment that you may be accumulating over time. And it'll help you to schedule these payments out so that you're able to save the most on your interest while still paying everything off rather pretty aggressively. Um, and so it'll also give you an automatic payment scheduling, which will allow you to predict how much you should pay and how often you should pay it to help shorten off these payoff timelines, which, like I mentioned, is good for not having to pay so much in interest over time. The faster you get it paid off. And so you can use these apps to help automate your payments, to also avoid late fees as well. This is a really great one that I mentioned on the slide, Tally. And this is one of those ones that'll help you figure out which card to pay first for some max interest savings. Um, and this all kind of plays effect into your credit score when you really think about it. So we can use AI tools to help in credit management, which is important because oftentimes it can affect things like your rent, if you're applying for loans, even some jobs will pull your credit score, and also insurance rates. So this is something that you always want to make sure you have a handle on. Using AI just makes it easier to do that. Tools such as Credit Karma and Experian Boost are great for this because you can monitor your credit in real time. It'll help you pinpoint areas such as high utilization or where your late payments are. And then it also can suggest tailored fixes, like paying down a card to 29% utilization. Credit Karma will also make recommendations to you as to which credit card may help build your credit or what you may be most likely to be approved for, if you are needing additional credit. One caveat I will give is that with Credit Karma, it does give you a credit score, but you do want to make sure that you're utilizing the primary three credit reporters, which are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, because they are the most accurate. I love all the things that Credit Karma offers. However, sometimes the credit score it gives you is not always as accurate as an actual credit pull. So you do get a free one every year from those three I mentioned at the bottom of the screen. So I do encourage people to pull it just annually, and it helps you keep track of what your credit score is, what areas you might need to work on. And let's say there was an instance of fraud or anything like that. If you're checking these things regularly, you can catch it before you need something and then your credit's really bad or it's affected negatively from that. Another thing that AI is great for is fraud detection and security. One thing that we do have to recognize is as technology continues to increase and become this great tool, it's a wonderful tool for us to use, but fraudsters also learn how to use these tools really well. So they're doing things like phishing, fake websites, deep fake calls. Phishing is when you get those emails and they ask you to click on a link and then the link takes you somewhere. They look like real emails, but you kind of have to look for the cues or the misspelled words to know that they're fraud. Things like that. I think even now you may get a fraud text message. I know a while ago they were sending one that I got, alerting you that I think it's from USPS saying that your mail hasn't arrived and to call a number. So never click on the links in those messages or call the numbers they list. Typically, your financial institution will call you if they need something, and they won't ask you to give personal information over the phone. They won't ask for account numbers. They won't ask for full socials. So you want to think about that when you are using AI in case you do come across anything that may be fraud related, you know what to look for and how to avoid it. Additionally, we can use AI to help with this because it offers us real-time monitoring. There's pattern recognition for unusual behavior, and it can stop suspicious charges before approval. What does this look like in real life? Let's say you're using one of the apps previously mentioned, it can identify when you may have spent something that is unusual for your typical spending habits. So, for example, if you always go to the same grocery store and then one day it pings at a grocery store that's all the way across town and you don't even go in that part of town, that's something that app will help you identify that, hey, maybe I dropped my card, maybe somebody hacked my bank account, and it helps you to keep track of that stuff in real time before it becomes a bigger issue. That's another reason why. So the tip at the bottom, you'll see always turn on your transaction alerts in your banking app to flag unusual purchases. Never send money under pressure or answer strange questions or click on strange links. So although AI is a great tool, we want to make sure that we're using it safely, and using it to help protect us as well. And then another great way to use AI in your personal finances is financial literacy. It makes everything then that the bankers say super easy and easy to digest and understand. So what's the major problem here? Financial terms can often seem intimidating. It can seem like information overload. It can just be a lot sometimes. So we can use AI chat bots for instant explanations. That's just as simple as taking ChatGPT and you type in a quick question for you, and typically it can give you back an accurate answer. One caveat is to always double check the chat bots. While they are a great tool, they're not always 100% accurate. But if you're using it for simple stuff, it can guide you to where you need to go. So as an example, they can help translate jargon into plain English. You can get 24/7 answers to any financial questions you may have. Personalized money coaching without the pressure of a human meeting. So if you know you need to make that budget and you know you need to get some things straight, but the pressure of going into a bank and sitting in an office and talking to somebody face to face, if that's just too much, then you can always use your personal AI apps to help you have these conversations so that you can have a better idea and feel more comfortable without the pressure of having to do the face-to-face thing that some people can find difficult. And then here are just some great apps that I would recommend if you are looking for financial literacy tools. Zogo is wonderful. It gives you financial literacy and real world impact. It's gamified learning, and this app also will give you free webinars. So if you have a question or there's a topic of interest to you, this app will have access to that. And it also will give you a personalized learning pathway. And this helps learners at any stage. So if you have a kid or a grandkid, or if you yourself are looking for some more help, this is a great app to help cover all those bases for you. Greenlight is another really great one. My bank at Benchmark, we actually provide this for our customers for free. You can have a card set up in the app. If you are someone who has little ones that you help out with, then this app will help you teach them how to save as well through games. We see a lot of people get it for their children, and this is kind of how they give them reward money or how they issue their allowance to them. Is they set up checkpoints within the app, and then the kids can mark off, oh, I took the trash out, or I mowed the lawn, and they can see where their savings are coming from these chores that are generated right within the apps for them. So it's a great tool for parents or grandparents to use with their little ones to help teach them. And in turn, you end up learning a lot about budgeting yourself, which is really cool too. Your Juno is another free app which will guide you on how you can make more, spend less, and feel financially confident. This tool, excuse me, is great for financial literacy. It offers a ton of information. It has over 200 lessons and it covers 16 topics, and that's just now. And so as these apps continue to grow and expand, I'm sure that library will also increase. So if you have a question, your Juno probably is going to have an answer on it as well, with some of these free lessons that they cover. And then Pocket Guard was also mentioned earlier in the presentation, but this is an all-in-one money management tool. So it'll bring together education, budgeting, goal setting, and ways to lower your bills, and also offer spending insights. This one is also a really cool one I kind of played around with online. And it also offers a wealth of information on the financial literacy front. It covers almost any topic you could think of. It covers investing, budgeting, saving, debt. It covers it all. So that's another one that I would look to if you just want to get some more of the educational parts. And then just really quickly, I wanted to include a really simple example of what it looks like in real time to use one of these AI apps or one of the chat bots. And that way, if the app feels like too much of a commitment, or if you just kind of want to play around with it and see kind of like what AI can do, I went onto ChatGPT and I just typed in a really quick scenario and it gave me a full budget. So I said, hello, I make about $4,000 a month after taxes. My monthly bills total approximately $2,300 to include my rent. And I have a credit card debt of $10,000 I like to pay off over the next 2 years. Help me come up with the plan to accomplish this goal. And so as you can see, it gives you a little bit of encouragement. It tells you this is very achievable. And then it helps you break down what that savings will look like. So it breaks down income and expenses, what your debt goal is, the time you want to pay it off, required monthly payment. So it's telling you here, you can see in order to pay down $10,000 in about 2 years, that means I would have to pay at least $417 a month. But that doesn't even include interest, as it'll tell you. So aiming higher will allow us to accomplish that budget or that goal, excuse me. It'll help you come up with suggested budget allocation. So when you're trying to save or pay out something aggressively, it'll tell you where you should probably focus your money. It then gives you a monthly breakdown and tips to stay on track. And then what you'll notice at the end, it says, do you want me to build a month by month payoff schedule showing balance shrinking each month with interest included, or just keep a high level budget? And the reason why I wanted to bring your attention to this is because AI can be as useful as you will let it be, essentially. So the great thing about using AI, one of the things you want to remember when doing it is you have to interrogate it in order for it to be a good partner for you. So something like this, you want to ask it as many questions as you can. And if it looks like it may be able to offer you something additional, like this month to month payoff schedule that'll be beneficial for you, all you'd have to do is type in yes, please. And it'll break down a whole monthly run through for you. So these tools, the more you get comfortable with them, the more they can do for you if you let it. With that being said, there are a couple of guidelines you want to remember that we'll run through real quickly. So here we just want to focus on AI as a partner, not a replacement. And that's important because, as I mentioned earlier, whenever you have, if you get into investing and you have something like a large portfolio, or if your finances may be in a little bit of trouble, too much than what you can kind of figure out on your own, you always want to remember that you can use AI to help you, but that doesn't mean you can't also still go to a banker and say, hey, I used AI, it got me this far. I wanted your thoughts on it. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's even encouraged. So when using AI, you want to remember, always review AI advice before acting. It's great for routine money management as we went through giving you a budget and whatnot. You want to be sure not to add personal information into AI tools, such as your social security numbers, credit card information, or banking credentials. And that's more so if you're going to use a chat bot, kind of in the previous example where I gave it a very general outline, but I didn't give it any specifics. Now, when you're using the apps are a little bit different because they'll ask you to pull in that information so you can run your analytics, which is still safer than just using a chat bot and giving it all of your personal identification. Also, one thing I would encourage is if you do bank somewhere, whether it be a credit union or a traditional banking establishment, it's not a bad idea. It's a great idea, actually, to just ask them what they may offer in terms of AI or additional help. Or if they have an online banking app, a lot of these apps have AI tools built right into them. And sometimes you just don't know if you don't ask. Like I mentioned earlier, at Benchmark, where I am, we offer Greenlight and we offer Experian for free to our customers, and you just use them through your app. So you always want to kind of see what your resources are because you never know what tools may be available to you, and free tools at that. So it's just something to think about. And then also continue to use human experts and bankers for complex needs, which we kind of mentioned throughout, so you can see the importance of that as well. And that was it. If there are any questions.
Thanks, Courtney. Let me go to the chat here and see if we have any questions. If not, if you guys want to, I'll unmute everyone. So feel free to jump in and ask a question to Courtney, and we'd love to hear from you. I just want to thank her so much for these great, easy to use tools. And I think what I love most about the presentation today is you told your own personal story about how these tools work for you. So if they work for Courtney, they can work for us.
Absolutely. I do not shy away from it. And honestly, even when making this presentation, I started looking up even more tools that I'm probably going to try out too. So it's super useful if you let it help you.
All right. All right, let's see here. There's Courtney's information. Let's go to the questions. Let's see. Um, Here's a couple of questions, Courtney. As a financial professional at a bank, do you think AI could take over your job, or do you think people will always need humans to turn to for reliable advice?
Can you hear me now?
And yes,
Okay, sorry. It was telling me I was muted. I apologize. Um,
sorry.
no, that's a great question. I don't think it will ever completely phase out bankers. You still need a human touch. And just as we mentioned in the presentation, these tools are great to use as a partner, but one thing that AI lacks and that I don't think it will ever truly be able to capture is human emotion, which is important because whenever you're planning for major life decisions, you want a personal touch on your finances. And I'll give you an example, something like if you ever need a loan for something, or you're buying, let's say you're buying a house and you need help trying to work through a loan or a mortgage. A lot of things that happen in banking are based on relationship as well. So it's easier to walk into a bank that you have a relationship with because you've been there for a while, you know them, they know you, they know your story. It's going to be easier to get assistance or to get a line of credit, for example, at that type of institution versus when you walk in somewhere and you're just a number and they don't really know you and you're just another request for money, but they don't have that personal connection with you. So while I think that people are looking to make AI super, or I guess as emotionally intelligent as possible, I think there are some things that a human touch and that a human touch just won't be able to replace. Um,
Okay.
and so I think the relationship aspect of banking is super important, and therefore, I don't think it'll take my job just yet.
All right. Thanks. Hey, another quick question. Acorn has an S behind it, correct? Many options to choose from on the app site.
One more time for me.
Acorn has an S behind it, correct? Many options to choose from on the app site.
I believe so, but I will check in real time for you. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Also, I love that you guys are already looking for the app.
Yeah, as a follow-up is where's the best place to download these apps?
So Acorns does have a S on the end. It looks like it's going to be a green icon with a little white acorn in the center if you're looking for it. They also have a kids version, it looks like, which is purple, but the same app. And the best place to get these apps from, just your app store. Some of them you can look them up online a little bit first, and it kind of will give you an intro to what the app does if you don't want to just jump right in and download it. But Google Store or your Apple app store if you have an Apple phone.
And I'll answer the question for the group about recording of this session. In addition to the PowerPoint being uploaded to the Career and Financial Service program page on our website, myself and Brenda Button, who is one of the Career and Financial Service coaches, with the attendance record today, after the event is recorded, we'll give you instructions on how to get a copy of the recording.
And then I just want to throw out there, my email is up. So if you guys are getting into using these apps and you have more questions as you experiment with them, or if you just have any general financial literacy questions or anything like that, I'm always happy to help where I can. So don't be afraid to reach out. Or Chris and Brenda also have my info if anyone needs it.
Anyone else with a question for today? We're a little ahead of schedule. That's always good. We can give you some time back in your day, but we'll see if there's a couple more questions. Courtney, again, thank you so much for today. Let's see, how soon will the video be available? Brenda's out today. I'll get the recording hopefully by the end of the week, you'll have a copy of it. which is tomorrow, Friday. What am I saying? All right, everyone. Wow. Well, thank you guys so much for being a part of our first Building Financial Power seminar series for our 25-26 calendar year. We'll be back next month with a new topic. Again, thanks Courtney so much for being a part of this. Like I said, the PowerPoint presentation will live on the website. The video will be emailed to you. Give us a couple of days to get everything set up. And thank everybody so much for being a part of today. Have a great rest of your week and a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks very much.